You know, at some point I probably should just like play around with, like do a Mirror Engine solo with Roaspan or Rogio. Because I do not understand exactly how I'm supposed to run Roaspan or Rogio. Oh well. Hey, welcome back to more Limbus Company. I'm SlayerMathis, and last time we started off finding out that things are not going well on this warp train. And let's find out how much things can get worse. How much worse things, whatever. After a round of intelligence gathering from Faust, we open the door to the next cabin, only to be greeted by a loud commotion. Yeah, it sounds like there's other survivors. Passengers in danger! Why not?
Oh, whoa, don't come any closer. Who the hell are you guys?
This woman. A foreign woman suddenly jumped in our path. She appeared without warning. Faust stumbled a little and inadvertently slapped by the figure's swinging arms as he pushed his way.
Right, looks like you gave me any warning before you practically kicked that door open.
Would you mind moving that huge sword over our face? It's a bit threatening.
Threatening? I'm just trying to protect those civilians in this car. What's that, the Bible stick?
Must be an old timer, huh?
I thought those things were outside forever ago.
I'm sure this old timer's got left in him.
Thou art from the north, verily. That comes of the northerners, no?
It's really at the time, lass. And it looks like we're in the same mess here. Make way for us, yeah? She seemed to be sizing us up for a moment.
Yeah, I don't trust you. You got any proof you ain't bitten? Not you're gonna let all my effort protecting this place go to waste.
Bitten? What the hell are you talking about?
You look completely lost.
If you were one of the economy cars, I'm sure you'd see. Hold on.
I'm from the first class car.
Yeah, well, you just woke up from your capsules.
First class supposed to be. Why do you say so from the get-go? Name's Sasha, multi-crack office rep.
With that, she lowered her weapons and allowed us to pass. Have you not left the car for the duration of this ride, Sasha?
No, I haven't. We walked over to T-Cup after picking up one of their contracts, but jeez, can you believe this train broke down? Shit is even breaking. Not feel longer asleep at all. It's shady bullshit if you ask me.
You can feel that even a prosthetic body?
Man, how can I live without my favourite hobby? Driven to a sweet nap after a pleasant meal? Shall make sure to get high quality parts for him so I can still feel hungry and sleepy.
As in something else of note also occurred.
Yo, butcher, something of note did go down.
Distracting. Is it hard for you to speak without being so hyper? Stop swinging your arms like that.
Can't do that, friend. But I've got my prosthetic arms in a fight, so I'm calibrating knee set. Gotta keep swinging if I want to sync up to the other parts anytime soon. Yeah, you all know what the hell is going on. People turn into some weird monsters all of a sudden. Having a goddamn clues, do they are? Don't seem like they can understand us either. Good to the mod train car didn't have a lot of those monsters. Jump monsters there over the pieces and all the villains in this vacant car.
3,201 red colors, 3,202 red colors. It's designed to protect them, despite the potential risk they may transform as well.
But of course, 'tis expected duty of any valorous fixer to stand guard on the front lines against evil to protect the weak. I've been keeping a eye on it for the last 3 days, and so far as their transformations. Go past this car, you see what the hell on earth really means. Those monsters are constantly trying to claw their way to the front of the train. So if you ask me, I wager that some shit went down there one train cars in the back and spread like wildfire till it reached here.
I see.
And that's all I can tell you about the situation. So what's your story? Why'd you rich first class folks suddenly decide to grace us peasants with your presence? Nothing that's happening here could could have made it to a swanky first class car, so what's your business down here?
W Corp is hired to solve this case. We are...
FIXERS!
Indeed, fixers. Faust nodded reluctantly as she affirmed Don Quixote's boisterous declaration.
Every single one of your first class ticket, you're supposed to be rolling in the dough. Goddamn thing. So where's W Corp already knew this would happen? You really contract to away? Not sure if I trust you.
As must be well aware yourself, contracts and contract fulfillment are of paramount importance to fixers. With that in mind, please recall that W Corp is one of the most secretive wings in the city.
Non-disclosure agreement, huh? Makes sense. Won't want to deal with those Eefy boys either. Anyway, I'm still gonna have to ask you for proof you actually contract with W Corp.
This is the master keycard given to us by W Corp. I believe that can open most doors aboard this train. Faust produced a master keycard from her pocket. I guess there wasn't any other way for us to prove that we're actually contracted by W Corp.
Keycard? You use this to open paths in the first class and the economy class cars. The W Corp logo? Oh, nice materials. Looks like you're telling the truth. Not like there's any cash in it for me either. Guess you gotta go all the way down there for your job, huh?
Yes. The fixer finally got out of her way, and with one of her free hands, pointed toward the opposite door.
Yeah, it's your funerals, ladies and gents. I fix your lap if you really are that good. Not a luck deal. I thank thee for thy words of courage, Fixer Sasha. I shall trust thee with protection of this fortress. Prithee, protect the innocents in my stead. Big sis, you're a fixer. We're gonna save us from the monsters in the car behind us.
Huh? Just as we were about to reach the other end of the car, a little passenger pulled on Don Quixote's coattails.
Aye, forsooth! Ah, you're a famous fixer! Forsooth once again! Thou mayest know me as a profoundly illustrious fixer! I want to be a fixer too, just like you. That pissed the young Kelly. Surely she's my daughter and... Why not thyself? 'Tis no bother at all! Thou must dream of becoming a fixer thyself, Mr. Squire! It's fortunate someone like you yourself is aboard the train. Doesn't ensure the child's survival. What you talking about, oh son? Going out to keep up appearances to treat people in the same line of work? What do you neglect some sweet emergency contract face from each and every one of them? See you on something or what? I see. I don't think Don Quixote needs to hear what you just said.
It could be like that, Faust.
Be like what?
You knew there was no way the fix was actually there to protect them out of pure goodwill, but you decided to go along with Don Quixote's delusions anyway. Am I right? Good move. I was getting worried about what might happen if she might start acting out again. A twinkle in her eyes too. Don Quixote's always been energetic, but she's been especially bouncing today.
Nice.
Faust strode towards Sasha with a question.
I have one last thing to inquire.
It'll be 300k on per inquiry.
It is quite an unsound decision to make for someone who claims to be in the same line of work as us. Have you considered the possibility that once our contract is successfully completed, we can include reference to a particularly cooperative associate officer in our report to W Corp?
Oh, are you serious? Gotta let me in it!
Were the eyes of the monsters you faced red by any chance?
Sasha paused her swing arms for a moment upon hearing that question, appearing to be either be in thought or trying to recall something that answered. I don't know, monsters are red all over, but it's something special about their eye color. And if one of my prosthetic guys red, and Patsy over there's got red eyes, and oh, you there! That lady with the big stars also got red eyes. Is someone out there paying cash for info red eyes or something?
No, well, it was a question of no significance. Faust nodded lightly in her direction and then opened the door to the next car.
It was just as we had feared. The scene that appeared before us looked like it came straight out of a painting of hell. Or a screen from hell! Dun dun dun! Ryoshi's source material is called the Hell Screen. Her days are so numbered. Yeah, see, painting of hell. See, this is right up Ryoshi's alley. All this hell screen stuff. See, we kind of get the gist of what's going on because we got the interface spoilers. But apparently, these losers can't see the UI. Super cringe for them. Sucks to suck. Yeah, I don't know when we'll have story. That's the problem with them using all the fancy icons instead of just the sword and book with a sword. I already know that we're gonna fall off super hard later on just because of how shit Mower Sinclair is.
Apparently the narrow hallway really takes a lot out of you. Ah, too bad. Being big moved with not a lot of room to move around takes more interest than you might think. Yeah, especially for people like us who use longer weapons. These enemies weren't much harder than the ones we fought earlier, but it was inevitable that these sheer numbers would eventually wear down the sinners. What are these things, Faust? I have one of that too. Why are you so tight-lipped all of a sudden? Those entities are... What do you think those entities are? Huh? Didn't I just ask you the same question? Are you giving us a chance to come up with our own answers first? Of course, Faust did not confirm or deny his question, but Sinclair was perfectly capable of interpreting her silence in his own fashion. There's some things I learned after fighting them, I think. These monsters aren't mad at us, nor do they want to attack us because we're an obstacle. That's not why they're attacking us. Quite! 'Tis apparent that they hunger for aught, charging at anyone and anything in a desperate quest of it. Strange, though. Thought hunger or thirst wasn't a thing aboard these trains. We determined from the entity's attack patterns that offensive was not based on irrational thought, so this behavior can only be traced back to primal aggressiveness. And was there anything else? I think they all had red eyes. Their bodies wreathed in blankets of red. Smelled blood, so that's like what they're made of. It must be that the red was congealed and crystallized blood. Your input has all been very helpful. It's my turn to start whispering. You are fled. We're unlocked, Dante. I read upon the subject into the tangent while perusing information regarding our next destination, moments before we boarded the train. Well, that will be a useful element in resolving this situation. The sinners have also been a good source of intelligence when it came to categorizing and identifying important evidence for the availability of information. Your advice was correct, Dante. You know what to do to blow this case wide open? Nothing can be said with absolute certainty at the moment. This will be a good place for us to start. Faust turned around and faced the rest of the sinners. I'll now present before you a solution to this predicament. Is there something else we gotta do other than beat the crap out of whatever in our way? That will not change now. But what I'm about to show will give you a better understanding of the purpose behind W Corp's contract, and provide us with the possible means of finding the method by which we may complete it. It is very likely that the entity behind the incidents on this train, and by extension, every incident of the same nature that has occurred at previous warp train trips,
is a blood fiend. Dun dun dun. TLDR and blood fiends, they're vampires. That's really just kind of as simple as it gets. We know what blood fiends are due to Library of Runa. Elena is a blood fiend. Blood fiend? What's a blood fiend? A blood fiend? What in the name of the wings is that? You of all people haven't heard of blood fiends? Then you're a team expert on obscure lore. Verily, I have not once heard mention of these blood fiends. Perchance I have let a magazine article slip from my memory. Don Quixote furrows her brows, genuinely lost. It was as though the very words sounded alien to her. I thought they were just monsters and stories to scare children at night. They're supposed to be afraid of garlic and sunlight, right? That's a bit different from what I've heard. I've heard their fear of garlic and sunlight is just a rumor, and what they're really afraid of is water. I've been briefed on the existence of blood fiends in the past, when I served as a commanding officer. I've seen the dregs that they command. Though my memory isn't very clear, I'm quite certain that these monsters here do not resemble what I've seen. I've seen one who called themselves a blood fiend among the ranks of the fingers. But the things that a blood fiend commanded weren't like these rubber-textured ones. Something off about this one. And then spawn these dregs with abandon like this. Weren't you supposed to know this already? Yes, I said that some studies have encountered blood fiends in the past. A long-winded explanation seems unnecessary. As many of you stated thus far, the entities we face in the street do not appear to be blood fiends. In a sense, they are drug-like beings that fail to become kindreds. They are referred to as blood bags among relevant parties, according to information I am aware of. Not a terrible name. Why would anyone name them blood bags? As has been said prior, it is impossible for passengers to disappear aboard warp trains under normal circumstances. Though our reserve intelligence regarding warp trains or Gabby Corp is vast, if incomplete, we cannot find a possible exception to the above rule. Within that reserve of intelligence, however, I've discovered that inserting a previously unseen variable into the equation allows for a formulation of a new hypothesis. Saying these blood fiends completely erase people or passengers from existence? A more accurate description would be to say that they are either dissolved or vaporized. Solved. No matter the degree of violence the passengers may indulge in, no matter how severe their wounds might be, the warp train can revert them to the initial states at the beginning of the journey. Among several interpretations of the word violence involves cannibalization, of course. Passengers' collective time itself is in moratorium for the duration of the train's operation. Digestion is not a biological process that should be active. In other words, even the devoured passengers could be reconstructed. They're merely stuffed to the digestive tract, which then I suppose they could get the passengers to retrieve the chew chunks of other passengers and piece them back together via the vein-like things connected to each individual. However, such is not true for blood bags. Blood bags are, by their nature, obsessed with blood. Their existence hinges on supplying themselves with the blood of their victims. And it is said that they must consume a minuscule amount of blood to maintain their form. You just say digestion's not a thing while we're on the train? If I continue my deductions, perhaps consumption of blood, for blood fiends and blood bags, is a fundamentally different process from our consumption of nutrients for energy. To them, blood is a culmination, an entailment of something that forms the self, including but not limited to emotions, ambitions, wealth, purposes of existence. Then it must naturally follow that they can spread their blood at will, this process isolated from other biological processes such as digestion. I ain't even following half that. It is just a moratorium of time at the present moment, Heathcliff. Yet your emotions still persist, do they not? Anger, sorrow, and joy. They continue to spark within you. I suppose they are. Though we cannot tell whether they may be in a state of alteration, or whether they remain ensnared in the wheels of creation and destruction. It can be said that emotions, once past, exist not in continuation. The passengers' will to live, the worth of this very existence in which they thrive, do they not all gently atrophy into non-existence even amidst the cease of time? This helps to illustrate the similarity between how emotions are to ourselves and how blood is to blood fiends. So that's where she said their blood is vaporized, huh? That's the case, and that the very blood supposed to bind these chunks together, their flesh together, will also evaporate, as they can't be pieced back together. And there's no incongruence in that logic. Everyone fell silent for a moment. There was way too much information to process at once. We didn't even know what to make of them either. I'd like to ask you a few questions, if you would permit me. Yisong was the first to break the silence. Could it be said that blood bags are direct creations of blood fiends? If such is the case, then by which method do they? Then information is inaccessible at the moment. Faust's reply is avoiding Yisong's gaze. There isn't anything I can do about this. Sinners only get more stressed if they find out what's going on with Faust, and that's something we both want to avoid. Inaccessible. Ah, indeed. Now recall what you've said in the past. This is only speculation, however. I assume that a form of direct physical contact is needed to turn an individual into a blood bag. If such were not the case, then we, who are likely the greatest absolutist entities goal at the moment, would have been the first ones to be turned. Indeed.
In that case, the villain of a blood fiend must be hiding out somewhere aboard this train! Indeed. If we're to believe the word of the fix from earlier, there is a high likelihood that the horde is advancing in this direction for the back of the train. Otherwise, continuing on the train cars will lead us straight to the blood fiend. Very well, I shan't forsake this opportunity to bring peace to the souls of the innocent passengers who have perished by the villain's hands! Dante. It seemed Don Quixote was now invigorated. The other sinners also seemed satisfied now that we had a clear set of our gold. Faust, who stood amidst them, now in my direction. Let's go. Make the best of what's available to us at the moment. Move forward, for now. March, march, march. I mean, if anyone were to figure out the... Jesus, alright, whatever. Yeah, if anyone were to figure out Faust's chord existing, it would be Yi-Song. Everyone else is kind of stupid in our group. I'm like, oh, well, okay. That is obviously, you know, a bit of an oversimplification, but like, Yi-Song and Faust are some of the smartest people out there, and most of the people are just kind of, they do have brains. That's really all I can say about them. Honestly, I'm not opposed to the idea of putting Barbara Otis on this team. Probably in replacement of Moeller Sinclair. Just because we at least do have one of the Blood Fiend units. So I'll consider it, but I'm not married to the idea right now. But it's consideration. So at least give something. Obviously, the most important one to get out of any of them would be getting T-Corp Otis, and any of the, if there's any La Mancha person, it would be manager that I'd want. So, oh well, can't get manager right now unless I just happen to actually pull it, which nah. The good thing about cutting out the basic battles is that you don't have to sit through me spamming win rate. The bad thing, I have no idea how long videos ever are. Manager Esquire, halt! Behold this poor fellow, he lives still! Don Quixote, her round eyes, wide open, began sprinting somewhere. Now stay away from me, you little monsters. Hey man, we're not those monsters. You alright? Oh? Good arm! You're starting to mutate too, won't you? You're doing some bug-like ones. What? No, this is... Gregor stumbled forward before chuckling and casting his gaze towards the floor in disbelief. No surprise there, I guess. So there's no way to tell right away whether it's an arm's a monster prosthetic or whatnot. It's possible that you are mistaken to its required prosthetic being of an older, outdated make, and that is now rarely seen in the city. Prosthetic. Relief. That was crazy boss was trying to break in again. So you can see my legs are messed up. I had no choice but to hide in here. What are the W Corp employees doing aboard this train? Right, but what do you find out about the warp train through their identities? I can't imagine any of them will ever willingly board this train. The contract fixes, right? We're ordered to assist you with the contract. Said away around their long lift. See one of my colleagues still getting losing their minds in that car over there. This cannot be. Faust, is there truth in a way to cure the blood bags? My apologies. The access to that information is prohibited at this moment as well. Their voice and her expression were, as both serene as always, there was something gloomy about the way she said it. I may have been too reliant on Faust in too many places. Faust muttered in a barely audible volume. I don't know what I can do to help the sinners in a situation like this either. I'd also grown too used to Faust's omniscience because I don't trust it to be there for me. I'm starting to realize I don't have the means to dig myself out of a hole like this. Maybe I was too reliant on the sinners as a whole. When the time comes for them to depend on me, when they can no longer stand on their own, can I really manage them? Lead them to the right answers? Doubt, colored with fear, begins to rise like an ominous plume of smoke. What can I do, right? The agent struggled to some corner of the room with his wounded leg, pulled on a lever, and made good use of this space. And the wall behind what initially appeared to be a folding chair of employees spun open. What in the name of the wings is this? Perchance thou hast hidden the weapon most powerful, a weapon feared by the blood fiends. In some resemblance to the captive cell in the first-class car, but why would the thing be here? The agent slumped into the pod that appeared in the wall. What does that seek us to do?
Prepare a small hibernation pod for poison in case of these emergencies.
Who then, huh?
Look at the rest of the mission.
Daddy summons with the capsule and shut the hatch behind him. The door covering the pod closed, only the folding chair and wall covered with viscera remained. He's gone. There he goes. As a part of the scene. It blankly stared at the wall where the agent disappeared into. Yes, we gotta... Let's move on to the next car. Keep on keeping on. That one specific... Well, okay. I would say, oh, you know, that's the ID that so-and-so is based off of. Not the case. Because that pretty much looked exactly like W. Merceau. Like, obviously we couldn't see the face, but the suits, basically the exact same thing is that W. Merceau was... I don't know if it was a launch identity, but it sure was early. So, you know. Regardless, we will keep on keeping on for next time. But until then, see you guys later.